guys, it's Jessie and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you guys the first update to my 1 week 1 palette series. So if you missed the first video, I will link it up in the cards. I believe it's that side, so you guys can get all caught up. But basically what I'm doing in this series is I'm just picking out, randomly generating one of my palettes to focus on for each week of the year. So I'm doing this kind of months at a time, so 4 weeks at a time. So at the start of these videos I will talk about the palettes that I was focusing in on last month, and then I will randomly generate the next 4 palettes for the month after that. So without further ado, I'm just going to share with you all of my data and usage and kind of share my thoughts on the palettes that I was using last month. The first palette we rolled in was the Beauty Bay Sunset Horizons palette. So I'll put in the photos from what it looked like before and after now. So I'm just going to go through shade by shade and share how often I use them. The shade here, Dust, I used once. The shade Shell, I used once. The shade Mirage, I used 3 times. That was one of my favourites, the yellow there. The shade Zest, I used twice. Didn't love that one too much. And the shade Moonlit, I used twice. Then I used the shade Flamingo once, the shade Cocktail once. I used the shade Reef 3 times, and as you can see we did end up hitting pan on there, that wasn't there before. Then I used Burst twice. I used Sorbet 3 times. Then down to the purples, I used Hibiscus twice. I used Bikini twice. I used Oasis once, I used Deep once, I used Thunder once, and I also used Twilight once. And then I didn't use the final 4 shades in this palette. So overall, I really enjoyed the colourful looks I did with this palette. I do think there's a little bit of difference in formula. So the shade Burst and Mirage and Oasis are definitely more pigmented than like Cocktail. Cocktail's a little bit of a drier shimmer, and the shade Zest just isn't really nice. I don't really like that one too much. It's definitely very chalky, but the rest of the shades were really nice. I really liked working with the purples. I did a few really pretty looks. One of my favourites was using Mirage on the first half of the lid, and then Burst on the second half. It was a really nice kind of almost sunset, just kind of reddy yellow look. It was really pretty. So I'm really happy with the way this palette is looking now. As you can obviously see, we've got a lot more kind of usage marks and indentations in here, so it's looking a ton more loved than it was initially. So I'm really happy with the progress on that one. Then I did roll in my singles. So if you watched the video a couple of videos back on my channel, I actually did a declutter of all my singles shades. So now I do have less than I did before. So I've just got these singles in here and then my kind of daily singles in here. So I didn't track usage on these because I didn't really use them too much, because I realised that I didn't like a lot of them, hence why I decluttered them. So I'm not going to do a before and after because I didn't think I took a picture, but that is basically just what my singles collection is looking like now. I didn't track uses again because I didn't have names, but I basically just went through the ones that I was most likely to use and decluttered them. Obviously the ones that I wasn't going to use, but besides that, that was basically all for those ones. I don't really want to talk about them too much because I unfortunately didn't use them very often, but again, that was kind of a lesson because now I know that I don't really use singles too much, so I probably shouldn't be depotting palettes too often. Then the third palette was the Sigma Ambiance palette. I will put in the before and after pictures now. I really enjoyed using this palette. I definitely got some good use out of it because I barely had used it before. I'm actually a big fan of this one. It looks very one-noted, but it's got some very different tones of shimmer. So these ones are very kind of light gold. This one's like a proper true yellow gold. Then we've got some kind of taupey ones and then brown tones down here. So you can actually get a lot of different looks. I loved the shade Marigold up here. It's such a pretty like golden, almost like toppery colour, but it's just so glittery and pretty. And then the shade Basque and Daylily I really liked as crease shades. This was a really good palette. I really enjoyed using it. So I used the shade Days once, I used Luster once, I used Oasis 5 times, I used Marigold twice, I used Daylily 6 times, I used Midas once, and then I used Enrich once. Then I used Firefly once, Sunspot once, I used Burnish once, I used Summer Solstice 4 times, then Candlelight once, that one's Candlelight, sorry. I used Basque 4 times, and then Sunflower once. So again, obviously I was only focusing on this palette for a week, so I think I got a really good amount of usage in on the shades with that. And yeah, I was really happy with this one. I really like the palette, it's really high quality. Then lastly, the palette I had in, finally, in this just past week gone, was the Nars Afterglow palette. So I'll put in the before and after pictures now. I wasn't the biggest fan of this palette before I rolled it in, but I actually really enjoy it. So there's a few shades in here that are absolutely stunning. So I really love this gold one, this kind of orangey one. I love this one here. It's kind of like a gold to pink kind of duochrome. I don't know how well you can see, but like it's really pretty. And this gold down here is just stunning. I love that one. It's so sparkly and so pigmented. It's really pretty. So on the eyes, that looks gorgeous. I really was pleasantly surprised with this. So I actually love this one. It does hard pan quite easily. So I just used this one once and it's hard pan, and I use this one a few times. We do have a dip in there now, but I will have to remove that hard pan, which is a little bit annoying. But overall, it doesn't bother me too much. I was overall very pleased with this palette. And yeah, I was considering decluttering it, but now I definitely will keep it because I got so many good use out of it, and I really love it a lot more than I was expecting to. So that was a really pleasant surprise. So those were all my palettes from last month. Now it's time to generate and choose my palettes for next month. So I normally would randomly generate every palette, so I'd just random number generate 4 out of all my palettes I have left that I could possibly pick, because obviously I don't want to pick ones that I've already chosen. But I am gonna kind of choose one to roll in first because it is a new palette to me. I haven't broken my no buy or anything, but this was just sent to me by my very lovely friend Reagan from Reagan Plays With Makeup, and I haven't got a chance to play with it yet, and I don't want to just wait for it to be rolled in. I want to be able to play with it as soon as I get it. So the first palette I'm going to be rolling in this month is the Urban Decay Naked Ultraviolet palette. So this is the palette here. It's really pretty. It's got some really nice neutrals down here and then some more vibrant purpley tones, and I'm really excited to play around with this one. Haven't even touched it on the eyes yet, haven't even, you know, done one look with it, so I'm very excited for this one. I love the Urban Decay quality. Normally it's a pretty decent quality, so I'm really excited for this one, and that is going to be the first one I'm rolling in this month, and then now we're going to randomly generate the other 3. Okay, so I have removed the Urban Decay Ultraviolet and the palettes that I had in last month. So now the options for us to roll in is from 1 to 41. So I'll randomly generate now. We've got number 25, which is, oh, that's interesting. That's my Sigma Corda Rosa palette, so kind of the one I got in tandem with the Ambiance. So Sigma Corda Rosa is this palette here. I haven't played with this one too much, probably on the very same amount that I have with the Ambiance, but this is a really gorgeous palette. I really enjoy it, so I'm really excited to pull this one in. Got a nice kind of variety of neutral colours as well as some kind of pinky tones. I definitely think this is the kind of newer version of the Modern Renaissance, so I'm really pleased with that one. That'll be really fun to play with. I think I'll play with this one a little bit more than the Ambiance so far, but yeah, still very excited for that. So now from 1 to 40, we've got number 18, which, oh, that's exciting. That is my Urban Decay Naked Honey. So we've got 1 Sigma and a Sigma last month, and now 2 Urban Decay. So this is the Urban Decay Naked Honey palette. Again, really love this one. You can get some really stunning looks in here. I've got a good few dips in here so far. Don't think I'll hit pan. Same with Sigma Corda Rosa. I don't think I'll be hitting any pan in there. But yeah, really love this palette, and I've worked on a couple of these shades in projects before. As you can see, there's some small dips, but yeah, really gorgeous palette. I love the kind of everyday mustardy colour, golden tone. It's one of my favourite eye looks to do for kind of a neutral one. So yeah, very excited about that one. That'll be really fun. So then lastly, from numbers 1 to 39, we have number 32. So that's definitely a newer one for me. Oh, that's exciting. So that is going to be the Made by Mitchell Head in the Clouds palette. So I'm working on one of these shades in my pan, those eyeshadows already. So this will hopefully help me get some more good use out of it. So this is the Head in the Clouds palette here. So definitely a very big one. And as you'll be able to see, a very colourful one too. So this will be really fun. I mean, we have got some kind of neutral browny tones here, and I can do kind of a more neutral kind of corally look, but overall this is a very bright palette, so I'm really excited for this one. Definitely think this is a super fun one to roll in, and I definitely think I'm going to have a lot of fun with this. So yeah, this is going to be my final palette for February, and I can't wait. So yeah, to kind of recap, for the first week I have the Naked Ultraviolet palette, and that is just what this one looks like here. Then week number 2 I have the Sigma Corda Rosa, which just looks like this one. Then the Naked Honey, like that. And lastly, the Made by Mitchell Head in the Clouds palette. So yeah, super duper excited for this. I really hope you guys did enjoy this update and are enjoying seeing my progress. If you are, don't forget to give it a like down below. You can hit subscribe and turn the bell to join a little club, and then make sure you turn on all notifications so you'll be notified every single time I post a new video. If you want to watch one of my other videos, there'll be 2 on the screen now to pick from, as well as a load linked up in the cards from earlier. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!